Hey everyone, Ross Crystal here, and welcome back to Upfront. Before I tell you what's coming up, I want to remind you to please, if you would, like and subscribe. Upfront today, we meet the stars of the Netflix skating drama Finding Her Edge, a series that follows a fallen figure skating prodigy fighting to save her family's struggling rink and reclaim her own future. The series has already been renewed for a second season, and with that in mind, we say hello to its star Madelyn Keys, who joins us from Toronto. And in fact, you grew up in Canada.
Yeah, we have an all Canadian cast on this one actually.
That is very cool. So you did you grow up in Toronto?
No, I live in Ottawa, so I live in our capital and our government town. It also has the largest skating rink in the world. Is there our canal freezes over and everybody skates along it. So that is kind of how I grew up and learned to love skating for the first time.
If you would lay out the premise, the storyline of Finding Her Edge for us.
Absolutely, yes. So, Finding Her Edge stars Adriana Russo. She's the middle child of the Russo figure skating dynasty. So, both of her parents have won gold in figure skating, and they were pair skaters. And her three sisters both compete, or all compete in three different disciplines. So, Adriana is an ice dancer. Her older sister Elise is a singles skater, and her younger sister is a pair skater. All different disciplines, which is something that I had to learn. And Adriana has taken a break from skating. She hasn't skated in 2 years since her former partner and her first love, Freddie, left her life because they were not compatible height wise, which is a real thing that can happen in skating at the time. But now he is coming back with her best friend, and they are going to be training at her rink, which is also where she lives, as the drama would have it. And Adriana, as a way to kind of save her family and their financial situation, she decides that she is going to partner up. She's going to return to the world of ice dance. She's going to partner up with the bad boy of figure skating.
You looked at the script. What excited you about this role? Why did you take the part?
Oh my gosh. I think the more I looked at the script, the more there was to love, and that truly has been the experience that I've had working with this cast and working on this show. I think initially there was a familiarity in Adriana's drive and her ambition and her desire to try to help, even if her efforts were a little misguided. That I really liked in her character. Being a fan of figure skating myself, I thought it would be so interesting to learn more about the world, and as someone who's always loved sports, being able to learn how to figure skate and push myself physically as well was also really appealing.
Now, if you were from New York or Northeast, I would say, did you skate at a young age? But if you're from Canada, I'm going to take it you skated at a very, got on the ice at a young age, correct?
Oh, Ross, we learned how to skate in gym class in Canada.
That's what I thought. So, so this was hand in glove, if you will, part for you in the physical sense as well, correct? You had no
Well,
problem with
that
it.
is what I thought coming into this. I thought that I knew how to skate, and so I would be fine. But it's almost as if like I know how to write in English, but I could never write Shakespeare, right? I think that there are so many different levels to the skill of skating that I had no idea about before I really started to learn more about it and try to emulate it. So, yes, I can move forward without falling over, but I think what is particularly interesting about figure skating is part of their job is to make it look effortless. They are judged on how effortless it seems. So compared to other sports where you're able to completely collapse after performing, your chest is heaving with how much effort you've put in. With figure skating, you are trying to make it look as easy as possible. And I think sometimes we can think it's a lot easier than it is, and that's definitely my experience working on
So
this.
here you were used to skating from a young age. Did you have to take a different level of lessons as you started shooting?
Yes, absolutely. We had incredible coaches. I know me and some of my co-stars on this show were trained by like national champions or world champions to try to get a sense of just even the posture that you use when you're on the ice of someone who is very comfortable versus someone who is not. You can even think about like how comfortable like a professional race car driver would be parking versus like a new teenager, even though both people know how to drive cars, right? They can be very different things. And so they taught us both how to move effectively and to become better skaters, but also what the most effective ways to try to cheat it when we needed to would be.
So we know you got into skating earlier, ice skating. At what age did the acting bug bite you?
Mm. I started acting pretty young. I would say I was probably in elementary school, maybe 8 or 9. I This is sort of my first biggest project, which I'm grateful for having the brain of an adult
Hmm.
going into whatever may come. But I had always been interested in taking like drama lessons and things like that in school, and I had a friend who was going up for an open call audition, and I was like, come too. And I ended up getting the job, which maybe was not the kindest thing for me to do to a friend, but it definitely sparked my love of acting.
You got the part, she didn't.
Correct.
Oh boy, that's almost
Yeah.
like a script in and of itself. Um,
Oh, I'll leave that one for you to write, but please consider me when you get the task.
what do you love about the acting profession?
Hmm. I mean, I think fundamentally acting is the portrayal of what it means to be human and in all of our life stories, right? And so there is something that is so subjective about it, but it's also a chance to really dive into what we enjoy most about our lives. For me, that's a lot of times that is the relationships that mean the most to us. They're the best parts and the worst parts of those, but also all of the experiences that come with it, and what meaning we choose to make of our lives based on the things that happen to us. And I think with acting, you get to learn about people that are so very different from yourself, and you still get to connect them to your own humanity. And it just, I don't know, it makes me feel a little closer to the world that we're in.
In a couple of minutes, we'll meet a couple of your co-stars. What is
Mm.
it like to meet the new stars or the new co-stars, your colleagues, when you've never had that before, and quickly get into the acting mode? What's that like for you?
I mean, I think it's probably pretty similar to how you do your job. Like you and I have just met for the first time, and your job is to make a genuine connection from with me and try to get the best answers that you can from me for your audience. And so I think a part of that kind of comes naturally to people who are drawn to that profession. But I also think that there is an element of effort that just comes from trying to listen to the person as well as you can to try to get a sense of who they are and what they want. But I also think that when you're working on a show like this where everyone's goal is to make the best thing possible, everyone is so excited to be there and be involved, it helps because everyone wants the same thing, which is to make the best show and to get along in the process, which we all know can help the outcome.
And you triggered something. When I first came out here to Los Angeles, friends and
Mm.
colleagues who were taking the acting courses and all that, and I don't know if you're doing any of that, but one of the things that was drummed into my mind, acting is reacting. And I guess that's
Hmm.
pretty true in the case of what you're doing now with Finding Your Edge. You're reacting to your co-stars.
I sure hope so. I mean, I think that's kind of up to the audience on if I'm doing it well or not, but that's absolutely my intention.
And one more thing, does part of your intentions look westward to come out here, New York, to act there, Broadway, to do that? What are your ambitions?
Hmm. I will be in New York tomorrow, actually, in the short term. So I'm looking forward to that for the premiere of the show. Um, but I for me what's really important, and the thing that I love is creativity. I love telling a good story. I'm still trying to figure out if the only way I want to do that is through acting, but I'm also interested in writing and directing.
Oh,
I think yeah, I want to tell the best stories I can in whatever medium suits them, and I'm excited to see where that takes me, but I don't necessarily feel like I have to achieve it in a certain way.
we have two of your co-stars. Let's welcome Olly
Wow.
Atkins and Cale Ambrozic. I hope I pronounced Ambrozic. Did I get that right?
Oh, you've money. Perfect.
Right on. Okay. I'm going to have you do first with you, Ollie, your part. And I mean, if let me before I even ask you, it's a love triangle. We'll get to that in a second, but tell us your.
Yeah.
It just is. Let's tell that flat out. But tell us who you play and what your character's like.
So I play Freddie O'Connell. He is a competitive ice dancer who grew up in the Russo household. He was sort of halfway adopted by them when he was little because he had some pretty serious family problems at home. He is Adriana's first partner and first love, and he's a really interesting guy. There's a lot of depth to him. He's really caring. He's really loving. He's also not very good at expressing himself. He's not very good at sort of taking charge of his life and doing what he wants to do, but he's also an incredibly dedicated and competitive athlete. So there's a lot to him. I think there's a lot of stuff for fans to like. Not everything is revealed of Freddie right away. You kind of get an idea of who he is at the start of the
Hmm.
season, but as the show goes on, you sort of understand why he is and where he comes from.
Okay, and Cale, um,
Yeah.
a little bit about Braden.
Hmm. Yeah, so I played Braden Elliott. He's the bad boy of figure skating, as everyone likes to call him. Braden obviously comes from wealth and privilege, and obviously with that he has immense talent. Um, he does. I'm sorry to say. I know it sounds cocky, like I am Braden Elliott. I'm not, I swear. But he also has a massive ego, and it gets revealed in the later episodes why he is the way he is, and the reasons he did the things he did, and I think he has a really beautiful arc. There's a lot of ebbs and flows with Braden, and I think people will be able to connect with him in certain ways for sure.
So we've got the nice, dedicated, loyal, hardworking boyfriend, and the new, not so nice, very sharp, very talented guy who's moving in and moving in very quickly. So how does this triangle spin out? Give us a little of what goes on, Madeline.
Yeah, I mean, I think Adriana sees Freddie come back to train at her house slash rink and with her best friend, which also stings. And I think seeing him and seeing them together, as well as her family's continuing to get worse financial situation, um, Adriana decides that she's going to get back on the ice, and she realizes her best chance of doing well and getting a sponsorship and getting some of the money that her family desperately needs is through a guy that she doesn't like, that she doesn't respect, doesn't see much in. And however, as they start to skate together, she kind of learns more about him. He opens up to her, and she starts to see some of the positives of being a person that is completely unlike herself. And I think there's definitely some of that opposites attract, but also some consequences from that as well.
So the relationship part just kind of lays itself out, and there's going to be all kinds of twists and turns. For the prep on this, did you guys look at competitive films? Did you guys look at, I don't know, what was the prep? I know you all were on the ice at an early age, but from the competitive factor, did all of you or any of you do any kind of a research into to all of this?
Hmm. Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's interesting because you're approaching it from two angles, right? You're approaching it from the angle of a person who's trying to like realistically portray a competitive ice dancer. So there's looking at a lot of the famous ice dancing couples throughout history, Scott Moyer and Tessa. Um, we had Paul and Piper on our show too, a little bit
Hmm.
more of a contemporary example. Um, so there's all that sort of technical research. I did not grow up in any kind of ice skating environment, certainly not a competitive one. So learning how things are scored, learning how the culture of the judging works, how everything, uh, learning everything that goes into it. And then, of course, like there's the artistic component as an actor as well, where you're, you know, projecting into the future. It's like, hey, I'm going to be portraying this guy on screen. How does ice dancing look on film? And like two of the big films I watched were two masterpieces, really, which was I, Tonya and the everlasting blades of glory, which so but you dive it into as much sort of like filmographic reference as you can too to get an understanding of how it's going to work when you start shooting the thing.
Madelyn, is it over with Freddie during this, or is there a comeback for him? You don't want to give too much away, but I'm kind of interested. Is there going to be a give and take on this relationship during the series?
You know, Ross, if the whole podcast thing doesn't work out, I think you'd be welcome in our writers' room. I think you got a great future for you there. There absolutely is going to be some ebb and flow between Adriana and both of these boys. I think they both represent different things that she wants for herself, but also different things that her future could be. There's two kind of different lives that she could live with each of them, and both of those have different appeals at different moments in time. So absolutely, the question is, who does she end up with?
That's the question I have, and I'd love to be in the writers' room on for that and be a fly on the wall. What was it like for the three of you? And I started to ask you the question, Madelyn, when you met each other, not just the three of you, but the whole cast, the whole ensemble. Did you all come together very quickly, or did it take a while? Cale?
We all came together pretty quickly.
Very quickly.
We actually, like, the first time we were all together on a cast was on an ice rink,
Yeah.
which was pretty fitting.
That's Canadian.
Yeah.
That is the most Canadian thing that you can do right there.
Yeah, everybody, it's fortunate because everyone on this show is so lovely and so talented and so professional. So there's not a whole lot of ground to make up other than just meeting each other and getting to know each other, both in like a personal and a professional context, which really happened pretty quick.
Yeah.
I also think like for most of our filming, we were, outside of a big city. We were kind of secluded in the middle of a winter wonderland. And so we weren't, especially the three of us who were all like flew in from out of town. We weren't going home to see our family on the weekends. We kind of became each other's family as a cast and crew for the various months that we spent all of our time together. So I think it has to happen very quickly, and you pray that it does happen.
Yeah.
It absolutely
It'd
did.
be a long 5 months if not.
Yeah.
For all three of you, what is it that you really love or admire about your character, and what is it that you do not like about your character? Cale, you want to start?
Yeah, I can start on that one. It's probably easiest for me. I the thing I love about Braden is his competitiveness. Like his willing, he will do anything that is required to win. And I
Uh-huh.
love that about him. That is many lessons I learned on set about Braden is that he will never give up. He will do what he needs to do. And I really, really admire that in anybody that has that type of tenacity. Um, Obviously, there's a lot not to like about Braden, especially when he has his walls up. He's obviously a very guarded human being. He's brash. He can be, stuck up. He can be very cocky. But the thing to remember about that is it all stems from some type of trauma that he's dealing with. But
Hmm.
obviously people deal with their traumas in all sorts of ways. I just wish Braden would have done it in a little bit of a better way. So I obviously don't like that about him. And the way that he talks to some of the characters, he should get his mouth washed out with soap, as my mom would say.
Ad- you like Adriana in what way, and you don't like her in what way, Madelyn?
I think I really do think Adriana has more likable qualities than unlikable ones. I do think she's a protagonist that you really want to root for. One of the things that I really admire about her is she she genuinely wants the best for the people around her. She's trying her best to help, but in her, sort of young teenage mind, she doesn't always come up with the right solutions that would be the most helpful. But I do think that there is a genuine desire for good for herself and also for others. And one thing that I don't like about Adriana, or I would say that I think she still needs to learn, is that not everything is about her. There's a lot of things that are going on in other
Oh,
people's lives that she doesn't necessarily fully understand. And I don't think she often gives them enough credit for what they're going through. But also sometimes I think I wish I saw her. I wish she got to be a better friend, and the way that friends are to her. And should we get another season, which I know we're all keeping our fingers crossed for, I would love to see that explored more.
And Ollie, how about you?
So the interesting thing about Freddie is the thing I love about Freddie is also the thing that like I would read on the page and would frustrate me most about Freddie, which is he is such a selfless guy. He is so loving. He is so kind. And it's incredible because he gets to be there in the way that no one was really there for him growing up to the people that he cares about. Even Braden sometimes he's there for in a way that you wouldn't really expect. But the consequence of that is Freddie is also a little timid. I think sometimes he doesn't follow his heart. And I would get scenes sometimes where I would read them. And it's great because I would be screaming at him to follow his heart and fight for what he wants and what he believes in. So it's that sort of like yin and yang of that character. And it's really fun to play. And I think it's at the heart of what makes him tick.
And this is also starting to stream as we get ready for the Winter Olympics. You think some of that is going to crisscross and people are going to say, I wonder if these relationship things are going on over there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And especially when hopefully we're there, Ross.
That would be a good
yeah,
promo, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I think so. I think it'd be great.
You'd be competing.
Yeah, for me, I would go as Braden and I'd strap on my skates and be like, all right, when are we going? But yeah, no, for sure. I think it's shining a new light on figure skating. I think it'll get a lot of people talking, and obviously it's kind of perfect timing with the Winter Olympics, and hopefully it draws a lot more eyes.
Which brings me to the following, a couple more questions on this before we close out. And that is this whole scenario, this whole situation, the press tour. First time for you guys doing a big press tour?
Yeah.
What's it like?
Yeah.
What's it like for you, Madelyn?
It's a little bit surreal.
We are surreal, aren't we?
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to do something like this. I am incredibly grateful to be here and to be here with these two. I also think, it's a lot of early mornings. It's a lot of sort of back-to-back interviews, which I don't know that I was not expecting, but I was also not expecting. And so I think it's new, but we've got a wonderful team behind the camera over here who have been, making sure that we have everything that we need and have set this all up for us. And I really appreciate them.
What about you guys? What do you think of
it's
the nonstop questions we all come up with?
Oh, you know what? I think we've been very lucky in this press junket that everyone has been asking new and insightful questions, and it's been, obviously it's a surreal moment for all of us. It's our first kind of kick at the can as leads, and to have the things that we've yearned for many years, at least for me anyway, to finally have the opportunity to talk about the character and talk about all the things that I did outside of set, and have people get to know who I am outside of just being an actor. I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, I feel like completely the same way. I mean, like, to be completely honest, I didn't think that I would like it that much, and that just because like I'm a fairly introverted person in my private life in a lot of ways. I find it kind of difficult to talk about what's going on. I suppose it's a little weird to talk about myself. You know what I mean? But what's cool is, we all put in so much work with these characters. So first of all, it's like an enormous privilege to be able to do this just as a general idea and to be able to go out and promote such a wonderful show that we made with such incredible people. But then also to be able to, talk about the work that we did and talk about our characters that, of course, are like completely central to our lives for the past year of our life, and that we put so much time and work and care and love into. And to be able to share that with people like yourself is like really wonderful. So
that's great, and we appreciate it. Let me close out by asking you guys, we ask this to veteran actors, people who are starting, people are saying, God, these three are living my dream. I'm just entering college right now. What do I got to do to get to do what they're doing? What do you say if you were visiting a high school right now or a college right now for those people who want to be doing what you're doing?
Yeah, that's a really great question, Ross. For me, it's just you just got to do it. That's kind of the mindset that I brought out to it. I was like, I told my parents I wanted to be an actor. They gave me a year, and I scooped that up, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. You got to be persistent. There's gonna be a lot of rejection. There's gonna be a lot of no's, but there's going to be a yes at some point. So if you never give up, if you really want this, you got to do it. You got to go out. You got to move to the right city. For me, I moved from Edmonton to Vancouver to pursue this dream. It's just go, 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 and persistence, persistence, persistence. Because if you quit, it's never going to happen. So persistence
Point.
and go energy. That's all you need.
Madelyn, how about you?
I'm going to take a slightly different approach. I definitely think that 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 works for Cale. It
Work for
absolutely
me.
works for some
Hmm.
people. I think all three of us kind of came to acting at different points in different different points in our lives and in different ways. I would say like Cale said, absolutely this job takes persistence.
Yeah.
I would say that um, it plan to play the long game. Like, what are the ways that you can set your life up so that you can assume it's not going to work for a long time and keep trying, keep kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall. So maybe that's figuring out what kind of a day job you can have that can support you, but also support a schedule that you might have if you need to take off a month of work or something like that. And also, having people around you that aren't going to belittle you for having that dream, but also who can hold you accountable if you are making decisions that might not be the best long term. So I think while absolutely you have to commit to it, and you have to do it, I also think there's a value in trying to do it as practically as you can, so that if for me, I think if you have a timeline to it, um, that cannot work, right? And so I think if you can set yourself up to enjoy the process for as long as possible, that's ideal.
And Ollie?
I would say to anyone who wants to be an actor for the sake of acting that you should absolutely, without a doubt, go out and do it. I think, this is one of those jobs where you can get really lucky, you can get really unlucky.
Hmm.
It's really hard to, it's impossible to predict the future in this line of work. But if you love the work and if you love showing up and you love working with talented people and you love performing and entertaining and taking these characters into your heart and showing them to the world, then you'll never work a day in your life, whether you work a day in your life or not.
That's the old
So,
adage.
yeah,
If you love what you do,
I
you never
think
work.
absolutely. And yeah, so just do it. If you love it, do it.
And real quick, education, college for all of you, how important is it? No, no for
No,
for for, for Cale. No,
I dropped out.
No, never went.
no.
really. Oh, so three out of three. Interesting. That that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that's just a very interesting. If we did the survey, what counts today? Just asking, no passing judgment on it. It's a very interesting uh, statistic. It really is. Well,
I
I'll
think
tell you.
like
Go ahead.
out of our main cast of like maybe what 13 of people sort of our general age, I think there were maybe two or three that had gone to a formal acting training before taking this
Yeah,
job.
yeah, yeah.
At least in like not in terms of like
You mean
classes,
like
but
an
in
acting
terms of
school?
like an acting
Right,
school,
right.
Okay.
university or
Yeah.
college degree.
Yeah.
Um, and I think when I've talked to them, they have absolutely loved their experience. But I also think that is one way to do it. It can be a very expensive way to do it, and so you have to weigh that cost as well.
Well, I don't think any of you are going to have a problem in the industry. I think you're on, as they
Well,
say,
thank
you're
you very
on
much.
your
I
way.
would say.
That's my opinion, and I am not doing a review. I'm just asking the questions. I wish you, all three of you, continued success. And be nice to Freddie.
Yeah, come on.
Give him a shot. Give him a shot. I don't know what the writers are
Ross.
going to
I
do, but
appreciate
give him
you.
a shot, and hopefully you've got a second season coming. And look forward to talking to you guys again. It is Finding Her Edge. It is streaming on Netflix. Thank you guys for joining us, and break a leg.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
for
Rob.
having us.